Kick off. We're all living our best ERP life, aren't we? Do we have Beau on the call? Yep, and Jonas as well. Fantastic. Why don't we kick off? We've got two awesome presenters today. I'm very excited for this. Really excited to see the adaptive cards. That's going to be cool. And with Beau, we're trying a slightly different format. We're going to do a little Q&A rather than a presentation. So that will be Beau and I acting that out together. So excited to hear how folks feel about that. Couple of things before we get started. We're doing a feedback survey. This call is for you, and the format of this call is entirely flexible. The format we have right now was because we thought, let's try this format and see how it goes. So any feedback we can get from folks is incredibly welcome. So if you scan that QR code or type that URL in, there's just some simple questions. Would love to get your feedback, please.
I cannot see the presentation, but I don't know the rest of you.
Oh, can anyone else see the presentation?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's me.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to dive out and dive back in?
Yeah, I will be back in a second. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. No problem.
I'm gonna steal the dive in and dive out instead of jump in.
Okay,
I always say
perfect.
jump in and jump
Oh.
out. Yeah.
I thought you meant you're also going to jump out, but that's not what you're saying. Okay, awesome. A couple of other things. If you go to this QR code, as you know, you'll be able to see all the latest content that we've created. We have been launching some videos for the new out-of-the-box agents, and we just launched a new one for the time and expense agent that's worth taking a look at, filmed by yours truly. So if you head to this link, you can see our latest social media content. And if you head to this link, you can see our latest community events. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk you through the upcoming events. So V, is V on the line?
I'm here.
Perfect. Could you talk about the Global AI Tour?
Yes. Let me get on the video. Hi, everybody. I was scarfing down food until Lydia called me out. Anyways, Global AI Tour, very excited about this event. As you can see, it's in like really exciting places all over the world. It's really funny that Lydia always asks me to talk about AI Tour when in reality, Lydia and Charles are the celebrities who've been going out and presenting at some of these AI tours. I believe to be able to attend this event, though, you do go through a submission process, so it's not open for all. But some cities do have a larger audience, and those are the ones that Lydia and Charles have presented at. So if you go to that link, you should be able to see the list of AI tours happening. If they're around your local area, please try to attend because I hear they're great. Lydia can tell you all about what it's like. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There are one-day AI events where customers and partners are invited to learn about all the things Microsoft is doing, and they're truly global. So that's just a snippet of the events that are coming up in the next month. Business applications launch event. The link is not available to register yet, but worth putting in your calendars that on April 30th at 9 a.m. PST, we have the twice yearly business applications launch event where we show the latest features that are coming through the lens of some of our real customers, which is great. Charles, are you on the line to talk a little bit about Power Platform community and the ticket situation?
Yes. The Power Platform Community Conference is going to be October 28th to October 30th. Whoa, can you go back?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize I'd done that. Yeah.
October 28th through October 30th, and there are going to be some workshops the 26th, 27th, and 31st. There is going to be an opportunity to win free tickets. Previously, we would have like these free drawings and stuff like that, but we decided to do something a little different now. I love Duolingo, and one of the things I love about Duolingo is the competitive aspect to it. It sort of drives you to do stuff. So what I wanted to do this time around is turn it into more of a competition. So starting March 31st, we are going to be launching something called the Community Spring Festival Competition. And for anyone who is a community user, then we are going to be awarding one ticket for each of the following categories. One, most verified solutions, and we're going to do it for both super users and for non-super users. The most blog followers. So by blog followers, you may know this. If you don't, this is going to be good information for you. If you create blogs a lot, you have the ability to publish blogs on our community site. You can either create it natively or you can syndicate it. And people have the ability to follow blogs. If you are a prolific blog writer, it's a really great way to expand your audience significantly because we get up to 5 million monthly active users across the two communities. So it's a really, really great way to get more views going. That being said, we are going to be awarding the person who has the most blog followers during a period of time between March 31st and April 25th with a free ticket to the Power Platform Conference. The most social shares of community content. So we create first-party blogs, we create first-party newsletters, we create a lot of different content. Share it and feel free to @mention the Dynamics community, and we are going to be counting that. And then finally, if you are a user group leader, for anyone who hosts the most user groups between now and then, you will receive a free PowerPoint or a free Power Platform Community Conference ticket. Runners up will get exclusive digital swag and a lot of other physical swag once you arrive. So that is going to be how we do it. No more free drawings. It's going to be a straight up competition. So feel free to get started. If you have any questions about how to do anything, or if you are new to the community, head on over to community.dynamics.com. And if you happen to also be Power Platform, head over to community.powerplatform.com because we're actually going to be awarding tickets for each of the communities. So head on over to that, create an account, and go ahead and get started.
Thanks,
We don't have
Charles.
any questions.
Some other events coming up, Microsoft Build, and as usual, head to the link to be able to get all the information about the event. Anna, you're back. Can you see the slides? And do you want to talk to our community-led events?
I have, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I have both of my laptops on, one for the audio, another one for Oh my God. Yes. So we have European Power Platform Conference that is happening in Vienna. It's a paid conference. The speaker selection has been already announced. There are also workshops. For now, the price is reduced, like lower than the final price. So you can just go on there. There's a little bit of everything. So we have Power Platform, of course. We have Dynamics. We're going to talk about Copilot. I'm having a workshop there with two Microsoft folks. So just join us if you can. But if not, we have some other events that we can invite you to. Actually, this one, I'm not aware of this one. Oh, yeah, we discussed it. Yes, of course. So this is an event that it's happening in Seattle. I don't know if it's for free or not, but it will have a little bit of everything. As you can see, it's a TouchCon 365. So it's meant to include those products within. Good. Then we have Dynamics Con in US. This one is paid as well. And there's a lot of people going. So I would highly recommend, if you're around in Chicago, just, have a look and see if you can join. Awesome. Dynamics Con needs no introduction, right? No. We know.
And Ryan's just put a link, 50% off link for joining the community call, Ryan. I love it. I'm not sure if the I know Beau thing is real or not, but brilliant.
let's just go with it. Yeah. Good.
Next one.
Yeah, we have a Dynamics Mindset that we've talked over and over about it. It's in Slovenia. It's one of the most beautiful locations ever. And this event covers from Dynamics, Finance, also CRM, Power Platform, and some other topics like Fifth Track and Diversity, Inclusion, and AI. And it has a partner day, the first day.
Awesome.
But this one is paid, just know that. And there's also happening the Digital Workplace Conference in Auckland, New Zealand. I'm not really sure if we have someone joining from that side of the world, but if we do, just put something in the comments.
Yeah.
So this is happening, and it's happening very soon, so next week.
Mm.
It's paid, but just, yeah, in case you're around and you want to learn something new, that will be a good idea. We have so many events this time.
Sorry.
It's fine.
These
It's
two
fine.
are calls for presenters.
Yes. So we have for Collabs Day in Finland. There's the Collab Days. We know already what it is. It goes through different countries. So yeah, the call for speaker is open. Just see if you want to submit. Of course, it's that business apps, but yeah, you can also, as you see here, Azure Security, Copilot, of course. So yeah, just have a look. The things are open and sessionized. And then we have a Nordic Summit, which is also call for a speaker is open. Submit as soon as you can, either for workshop or for sessions. 3 in total. In total from everything that you need to submit. This one is a paid event, but it's only 20 euros, and that is meant to cover drinks and food throughout the day. So while it's paid, it's only because, we need to sort out the logistics. So yeah, I look forward to seeing your submissions for this 2 events and to see you around the other ones.
Thank you so much, Anna. So many events this time. We're trying to call out events that are far enough out that you'll actually be able to go, but also not miss out on ones that are coming pretty soon. So it was a pretty long list this time. Okay, so for our first session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. How do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to spotlight Beau. I don't know if that's your idea of a good time, Beau, but there we go. Has that? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so Beau has a fantastic social media presence, Dynamics Dad. And when I first saw his content, I was so drawn in by it because it was so human and funny and real and educational at the same time. So he's such a wonderful example of an active community member contributing. So what we thought we would do is a little Q&A with Beau to learn a little bit about his journey, his motivation, and to give some tips for best practice for, how to become Beau, essentially, how to become Dynamics Dad equivalent. So what we thought we'd do is we'd start off with Beau sharing a little bit of his background, give you some examples of the kind of content he creates, and then we'll see where the conversation goes from there.
Yeah. So nice to meet all 101 of you. Sometimes I kind of describe this as 101 of my closest friends. So let's just kick it off. Like who am I for those who don't know? Beau Schwieso. I currently work at a partner, but that's not only who I am, but why I'm on this call is exactly what Lydia really talked about. I fill my cup in this community of dynamics, and for those who know. So this community happens to be one that gives back a lot, and I felt it was time to give back. So I come from a background of a military background, so pretty regimented, pretty focused on having a set itinerary for the day, if you will. And as I was leaving that kind of era in my life, I really understood like the corporate kind of lifestyle. And you can see my background. I'm actually on site in this isn't virtual. This is the corporate huddle room 101, if you will. So the kind of joining the civilian world, everyone's got their own voice. And I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of realize that, 8 years after graduating high school, where it's like, hey, yeah, I can have fun and be myself and be a unique individual while also accomplishing things. So, and that thing happens to be implementing ERPs. So to me, I've got this like kind of, foundational principle in life or North Star in life where if you're not having fun implementing an ERP system, like what the hell are you doing? I think at the end of the day, I think most of us can agree if we're not having fun doing our day jobs, this work can be kind of boring. And I'll be the first to raise my hand and admit it. Like if I'm explaining or walking through how to implement sales and use tax and not cracking a joke or not making a witty comment to kind of just break up the day, those 8 to 10 hours sitting in a conference room, working through the gap analysis phase can be really draining. So to me, I really like to have fun when I work, and I really like to translate that into my writing and into like social media. So the other part of it that I really enjoy, and I swear I'm wrapping in this up, Lydia, because this is supposed to be
we're good. We've got time.
conversation.
Don't worry. We're good.
Is I really like to kind of explain it as as if you're like 5 years old, or if you're if you don't understand those topics, because that is something that definitely fills my cup. So something that I'd be remiss to say is, it's a cliche to kind of call it out, but if you have that question happening in your head, typically somebody else in that conference room is also having that question. It just is like hey, just ask the question, because somebody also is wondering what that acronym stands for, or it's like, hey, what does PP stand for? Okay, Power Platform. It's not a silly question. Somebody probably also had that question that wasn't feeling up to it to ask. So I like to ask those questions, and I like to explain things in a manner that everyone can understand. So it was last year I just started writing those things and explaining things like I would and I have for the past 15 years, like in conference rooms. So it's like, hey, as I'm Googling something, I'm gonna maybe Google should pull up my blog on this. And there's been a number of times that I've like written something down that I'm like, I'm tired of researching this. I should research it enough to teach. And there's been a couple times that I've like pulled up my own blog. And it's like, what is that? What exactly was this top? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a really nice. Wait a second. How about that? So yeah, I happen to really like that. The other part of the what I like to do is something called Taylor Tip Tuesdays. I don't know who in the chat posted a Swift GIF, but if you know, I think it was Wendy. So shout out to Wendy. She is a frequenter. But if you don't know, now you know. Go to you can follow me on LinkedIn, and I'll post my blog on LinkedIn later, and you can enjoy how I translate D365 tips into Taylor Swift related. So it's super fun. It happens to be something that fills your cup. So I say that a lot, but it's also important to not get burnt out when you work.
So Dynamics Dad is the blog, and then Taylor Tip Tuesdays, it's all posted on your LinkedIn, right? Maybe you could you talk also, just to respond to something you said previously, you are the star of the show here, so the idea of you need to wrap things up doesn't apply when you're the one being interviewed. So it's just great to hear your perspective. I feel like you are someone who comes across as very enthusiastic and motivated, wondering like how does this fit into your your real world, right? How does the stuff you're doing at work interplay with where do you get ideas for creating posts from? How do you stay motivated to continue to post?
Ooh, so I'll kind of talk about the like sustainability of frequently writing and frequently posting, and then I'll talk about motivation because I think they're kind of separate. So sustainable like topics to me kind of are twofold. So number one is like as I'm working on an implementation and somebody asks a question in the room or we're talking about a specific topic, I'll usually kind of write about it. So this week's topic happens to be about AR aging and the automating collections. So I happen to be writing about that. So it kind of gives you a little insider tip on what I happen to be doing my like day job on. Um, for the most part, maybe 70% of the time. And then the other 30% happen to be like random thoughts throughout the day that I'll just take like in my notes app. That is just a backlog of like what would be fun blogs. So it's like hey, football season's about to start, even though no, it's not about to start now, but in 5 months time when it starts, it's like I wonder what football conferences would be related to Microsoft products. And it's like, of course, the SEC is F&O. Shout out to F&O folks in the room. And then, of course, BC might be like the ACC. But doing those kind of blogs are also kind of fun because it's like it breaks up that monotony or breaks up that like, pattern of just writing about explaining business topics and how they relate to your ERP, and then kind of really just having fun. And it goes back to that North Star, right? Let's have fun. Let's let's entertain and give back. So talking about how I stay motivated. So this one is kind of interesting because I usually don't get through it without tearing up a little bit. So for me, I've got two kids, hence the dynamics dad, and I usually kind of relate a lot of things about being a dad. They're 5 and 7, so ever since I was 7 years ago age, I'm not going to say what age that is, but I've had this like over romanticized like vision of me arriving at like my kids like second grade or whatever grade that ends up being for career day. And they're like, yeah, that's my dad. Like I'm super proud of him. So that's been like my motivator is like, what can I do so that they're proud of me?
That is so wonderful. That makes me feel so emotional. You actually are very similar to Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift has a note on her phone of interesting lyrics that she might want to put into songs. So the idea of you don't have to be motivated in it, like it's not about I come up with an idea and I have to execute it immediately, right? But to have that bank of interesting things, what's going on in the real world that I can relate it to. I feel like the idea is often the hardest starting point, right? What am I going to even write about today? A question for you. So you're about a year in now to creating content. If you look back at, I imagine you're in your flow, you're feeling confident, you know that you have an audience, people like to engage with your content. We have lots of folks who want to get more involved in the community and it's intimidating, right? Where do I begin? What would you say was your biggest what are some of your biggest lessons learned and what would you say to encourage people to get started on their own content?
Great question. So to me, I think like number one is the like Nike saying, and if I'm allowed to say that, hopefully I can, just do it. Just like just write. And like for those who are struggling with content ideas, you're a subject matter expert in something. Start there and then like kind of get your creative flow going and then kind of branch out. So like as a consultant, you're kind of charged with being an expert in all things, at least to the client. So you can kind of take that same kind of energy and challenge yourself to be enough of an expert to write 500 words on any topic. And then pretty soon you're starting to write about things that aren't necessarily in your SME area, but you're writing things about that you need to learn so that you can confidently talk about that would prepare you for the next week. So I've also used that as a tactic where like, hey, I need to learn about this topic to explain it to a room. why don't I just write about this? And why don't I spend a week really delving into this? I'm already going to be doing research on it. Let's go ahead and just write about it. Because other people are going to be Googling it. Other people are going to want to know, like, just explain it in English. I wish there was some analogies here rather than like reading, shout out to the Microsoft Learn folks. But some of that can be white paper-ish, and it's not really explained like, man, if there was only an analogy that explained how this would work if I was applying it to like a barbecue. And so to me, I think that would be lesson number one is just do it. I spent about 3 to 6 months arguing with myself and my like closest friends on what I should even name the blog. So it's like getting over that hurdle was almost harder than just writing. And it was like, I was trying to, they've got that cliche saying like perfect is the enemy of good. And, progress over perfection. So just start writing. And this will give you guys a little kind of, insight, but I kind of created Dynamics Dad so that I'm not the only blogger on that site. So like if you happen to be a dad and you want to blog and you don't want to have all the upkeep on your own site and all that, that is a platform. That isn't really just like my own voice. Like right now it is, but if you just want to write, you can definitely use that website and always reach out to me and I'd love to help. I happen to be wanting to make dynamicsmom.com for that same reason. So of course I would not be contributing to that site, but it's like if we have enough moms out there in the space, like yeah, I want to remove as many barriers for the community as possible so that we can contribute, and that's where the power is just doing it and just like you know finding what avenue and finding what really is your voice. To me, I think is probably the other biggest lesson learned. So there is how do I say this? So I took notes, Lydia, and then I forgot it at home. So the biggest thing for me is it was I was watching a YouTuber called Casey Neistat, who I don't think does YouTube anymore, but if you know who he is, he was super, super big back in the day. He always had a saying of be your authentic self and your audience will find you. That would be my next biggest advice is don't try to navigate any waters to say like, this person's super famous in the industry, I should replicate that, or I should try to be better than that. Be who you are. You have an audience waiting for your content. You just got to trust me on that. And the right things will align where those people will find you. And they're the ones that are going to be your biggest followers, your biggest engagement. And at the end of the day, we're trying to give back to this community. Have your community find you. So that'd be my last bullet point on advice and lessons learned.
I love that. You said a few things there I just want to reiterate. I love the idea of just get started. The goal there is no perfect, right? We all are ever evolving and changing. So get writing, get producing, get recording, whatever it is, and it will figure itself out in time, right? You don't have to have whatever we would call the perfect blog, because what even is that? I love the idea of show up authentically and your audience will find you. That's so like, I feel like a weight lifted by the idea of, just be me rather than trying to be, I like the look of this person. And I also love anyone who identifies as a dad and a mom to be able to come and contribute to your blog. That's a softer launch as well, isn't it, than having to create and do all the upkeep. So I love that. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
So I'll make this a short story. So Of course, if you already know me, you'll know that I recently joined the what I call the dark side or the consulting side, but I've been a frequent end user for about 15 to 17 years. So I left a company early on last year to be head of IT for a construction company. And head of IT really isn't just leading ERP, it's leading all of IT, which was part of my aspirations. So fast forward about 7 months, and I'm sitting in Summit North America in San Antonio. And I remember like sitting through one of the sessions being like having this realization, like, oh man, I miss this. I miss this community. I miss like being so enveloped in this. And I just texted my wife and I said like, hey, I think I'm in the wrong job. Like I got out of full ERP, and what I thought I was chasing wasn't what I should be chasing. So she had just responded like, yeah, I know that, Beau. Like I knew that. And it's finally time that you realize that. And come to find out, like very almost aligned, like it was about 2 weeks after I accepted that job, I started blogging. And I started doing that on my off time. I've gone to like all these like DUD local meetups or Dynamics Con on my own time. I take PTO to do all these things. So me having that realization of like what fills your cup is what I would probably leave you guys with, is like as you kind of think about your aspirations in life, remember what is really truly like, take stock in that, because you'll end up finding yourself down that rabbit hole and like coming back to it and finding yourself coming back to home.
Thank you. That was so wonderful. Has he just frozen at the perfect time, or is that just me that sees him frozen? I think you're back.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you so
That's
much. That was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful story, and I think you have some really wonderful messaging and a really awesome blog as well. So if folks aren't following, please go follow Beau on LinkedIn, Dynamics Dad, and check out all these amazing Taylor Swift gifts that he's putting out constantly that honestly bring me incredible joy. Thank you, Beau.
Thanks, Lydia.
And with that, we'll go to our next presenter. A slight pivot on topic, but very excited to learn more about adaptive cards. So let's see, are you a presenter? Yes, you are, Jonas. Please fire away. Please go ahead and take control of the screen, and we can all learn together.
Lydia?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have a fun story while Jonas gets everything set up.
Perfect.
I did a session in Tallinn like 2 years ago, and for me, adaptive cards, the name was adaptative cards. So I did an entire session saying adaptative cards. Everyone was laughing at me, and I thought, oh, such a cool audience! Look how much they engage. And then my friends, all of them, at the end said, it's not adaptative, honey. So yeah.
I love it. Look at you showing up authentically, right? And hopefully your community stuck with you to align with Beau's messaging. That's all of us, isn't it? We all do stuff afterwards and you think, how was that possible? But we were 100% bought in. Okay, Jonas, please fire away.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for joining my session. I think actually it kind of ties into what Beau has been talking about. This is a session I've been making together with some really good former colleagues and our friends, and we have had so much fun making this session. So a little about me. My name is Jonas. I'm an IT architect at Nordic Investment Bank. So we are not a commercial bank like Bank of America. We are more like the kind of banks that supports transformations and so on. Our mission is to fund projects that promote sustainability and prosperity in the Nordic Baltic region. I have been doing Dynamics for the last 14 years and been pretty much all over the place. Now I'm a customer. I have 2 blogs. The first one is my private blog. That's pretty old. The second blog is a new blog that I've been making together with these two former colleagues. That's called Jydekonsulenterne. That's pretty much fun if you're from Denmark. Makes not that much sense if you're from outside Denmark. It's pretty hard to pronounce. I'll be having some personas in this presentation. I have a persona that's our finance architect. I have our code guru, and then I have the really lazy Finnish customer. And I want you to guess who this is. And as with all lazy customers, there is of course some problem. And this problem is that this lazy customer do not want to open his new ERP system. He spends a lot of time trying to open different forms, spends time trying to navigate to different areas where he has something to do, and it's simply too difficult for him. So we need some way to bring this ERP system closer to Jonas or to the lazy Finnish customer, so he gets his work done in a timely fashion. So the problem is that Jonas is lazy again, and we need to find something to help him. So, and I've heard that you, William, has been doing something with adaptive cards. You have been helping us with some invoice approvals, and I hope you can help this lazy customer also. So what is adaptive cards? So adaptive cards is a way where you can build device agnostic kind of pages where you are able to make information presentable in a way where you don't have to care too much about the design, but more about the content. Let's say design you want to be able to send to an iPhone, but it should also be presentable in an Outlook message, or it should be presentable in a bot, and so on. It's easy to use. It's just human readable JSON. You don't have to spend time trying to make all kind of fancy power effect stuff in a Canvas app. It's so easy that even a finance and operations guy as me can do it. And it's open source. So if you want to use it in non-Microsoft applications, it's also possible. I believe this can be used in Slack. There is a couple of examples of what an adaptive card can look like. There is kind of two streams. You have the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community. I've chosen a really fancy one that I want to implement at some point called Vacation Time Off. This ties really well into the HR. And on the opposite side, you have the Microsoft 365 developer. This is more into Teams and so on, and Outlook. It is not just writing JSON. There is a lot of development tools you can use. There is the classic adaptive card designer on the left, and then you have the more team specific to the right. That's newer, it's still in preview, but I find it more stable. So let's try to implement timesheet approval for this customer. We have already configured timesheet approval using workflows in finance and operations, but we need to kind of figure out how to get data out of finance and operations. So we have found the business event. That's a business event that gets triggered when an approval step starts. And a suitable entity where we can get data from. So there's two parts of this. There is the adaptive card definition itself, and then you have the cloud flow. The adaptive card to the right, as you can see, contains some text fields, it contains some actions. And to the left, we simply call an action that's called post adaptive cards and wait for a response. So if you are kind of used to having approvals, then you sort of kind of know this. I've seen this before. And this is what it looks like in the end. You have this card that's both presentable in my in Teams and also presentable on my iPhone. So the really nice thing about this is that it's completely offline. Let's say that I'm flying somewhere and I have really spotty internet connectivity. I can still receive the adapted cards. I might not be able to approve it, but I can still read the information and then make a decision when I come home. And yes, of course, I'm satisfied, but now you have fallen into the biggest trap as a consultant. You have shown how easy it is to implement something, and now the customer wants something more. So the customer mentions that there is a lot of trouble having or giving the project managers an overview of open activities in finance and operations. Again, they have to open finance and operations, find the information, build the reports, and so on. And you kind of also told him that it's also possible to have this in Outlook. And you also told him that it's open source, so he also wants to see adaptive cards in finance and operations. So as we did before, we find the data in finance and operations. There is entities that's available, so we can pull out project information. We're able to pull out project transactions and so on, so we can summarize the information. So here again, it's a bit more complicated. We have two steps now. We need to get more data out of finance and operations, so we need to build more entities. To be precise, there is a missing link between the project and the project activities. You can also see that the adaptive cards is also somewhat more complicated. And this is kind of the outcome of this exercise. You have the project overview that's available in a team and also available as a mail, but now it's also available in finance and operations. So you're able to make these cards that's available for use in all different kinds of applications. And again, customer saw how easy it is, and now he wants more stuff. So these are the kinds of use cases we see when we have been working on this. There is the approvals, that's kind of the first step. Then you have the order confirmation. So let's say you want to buy something, and then you can send these cards to customers with information like delivery dates, images of the product, and so on. Then you have inventory management. You have the project overview the same way you can do with inventory. Let's say there is locations that are running out of stock, then you can build adaptive cards that shows this. Then you have project management. Let's say you have some activities on a project that needs to be solved, then you can use adaptive cards for this. And then there is HR management. One of the issues we have at work is that onboarding is kind of difficult. So we will most likely also be looking into making a solution that's based on adaptive cards. And the sky is the limit. It's fairly easy and it's quick to build something using Power Automate. So just go out and try it. It's super fun and you can get really far in just a couple of hours. That's it from my Power session. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. That was so great. I find adaptive cards are so awesome in Teams, and it was really cool to learn that you can use them in Dynamics 365 as well. Do you have more content on your social media for folks to go and on your LinkedIn and social channels for folks to consume about adaptive cards?
Oh yeah. We made this presentation for Global Power Platform Bootcamp, and we have publicized this on our YouTube channel. It's also called Konsulenterne. Then we have our collaborative blog. Here we'll be posting more adaptive card content. In the future, there might be something about BPP, but you didn't hear from me.
Top secret.
Top secret, yeah. So keep an eye out for content on our blog, and also I post all the time on the community forum.
Awesome. If you look in the chat, there's a few questions about links that you put in. Could you drop the GitHub links that you put? And there was also an ask for the URL that you shared, the Microsoft Adaptive Cards URL that you shared at the beginning. If you could drop those URLs into the chat, that would be great.
Yep.
And we will be sharing the deck as well with folks. Thank you.
So all the links are in the deck.
Perfect. Thank you.
And at some point, we'll also make the adaptive cards available on our blog.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for presenting. That's such a useful topic for folks, and it's clearly got folks wanting to go and explore it some more after asking for the URLs. Thank you for presenting, and thanks to Beau for presenting as well. Two awesome, very different presentations today. I personally love the variety. If folks, I'm just going to pop that survey up one more time for folks to go and fill it in. Just grab that. If you could scan this QR code, it'll only take a couple of minutes to fill in, and it's incredibly helpful to get your feedback, and we can then pivot the calls to make sure they're still really valuable for everybody. Beau, thank you for setting a wonderful example by scanning the QR code then. Just caught that on the camera. Thanks, everybody. I hope you all have a great month, and we will see you back again for the April call. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Lydia. Thanks, Anna.
Bye.
Have a good day, guys.